"What are you making?" they asked me. Don't they know? I'm making a fool of myself. I'm making up for lost time. I'm making ends meet. I've run out of beginnings. Or maybe I'm just making things worse. "What are you making?" they asked again. They don't know what to make of me. "Make sense," they begged, "but I can't. It's all I can do these days just to make it through. Just make for the exit," someone says, "but how? I can't even make out the signs. Anyway, what difference would it make? Getting out of here or getting it over with? I've already made a mess of things. There's no making up for that. Not anymore." What am I making, I wonder? I'm making do, I suppose, with what I have. Does that mean I'm just making it all up as I go along? I can't even make up my own mind. Can't even make a decision, can't seem to make it on my own. I'm always so afraid of making a mistake, and yet I've made so many already. You'd think I would have made my peace with failure by now. It's making my head spin, all this uncertainty and misplaced hope. It's making me crazy. Or is crazy making itself? Shaping, forging, fusing together, creating something new out of disparate pieces? Can you really bring into being something that wasn't there before? Like making love, such a strange expression. How can you make love? Or making a name for yourself, a made-up name, a made-up face. Fake it till you make it, right? Isn't that what they say? What if you finally make it, only to realize it's still fake? Maybe fake isn't so bad, as long as you make the best of it. Make a statement, make a comeback, make your way into the world. Make a world, make a home, make a space for yourself where no one can make you be something you're not. Make a life. Make. What are you making? I asked myself curiously. Don't you know? I'm making you.
Escape, is a seascape, is a landscape, is a starscape, is an escape where I take my leave of the shapes that keep me in, keep me waiting, keep me holding on to all the unnatural things I've been. Outside my skin, escaping, taking off and breaking through these lies, this perpetual but popular disguise, cutting ties and making for the skies. You don't know what's out there. And just where do you think you're going? No, really, where do you think you're going? And won't you take me with you? No, I can't. Stay. It's not that bad here. All you need is a seascape, is a landscape, is a starscape, is an escape, where now and then you take your leave of the shapes that keep you in, keep you waiting, keep you holding on, withholding all the cries that would expose you, self-control, you know the toll it takes, to stay awake and make them think that this is all you need. Is this it? No one asked you. Ask again, and again. And again with all the noise and all the nonsense, the shapes that keep him in, keep him waiting, worrying, watching, and wanting to know what's out there. Have you been? Where did you go? That's silly. You're right here. You never left. Back already? Where did you go? What did you find? I could go too if I wanted, but it's not that bad here. What would I do out there anyway?
Hey, it's me. I'm sorry I never called you back. I know I'm calling you now, I just should have called sooner is all. It was just never the right time. Listen, I was wondering, do you think we could start over? Hey, it's me. I'm sorry it took me so long to call you back. I just didn't really know what I was supposed to say. Didn't know if you actually wanted to hear from me again. I feel like I kind of made a mess of things last time, but I was hoping that, I don't know, I can totally understand if you say no, but I was hoping we could maybe start over. Hey, it's me. I'm sorry I'm calling so late. I would have called you back sooner, but something came up. You know how it is. Do you think we could get together sometime? Hang out again? I know I kind of made a fool of myself last time we hung out, but I want to make up for that. I would just really love it if we could try to start over. Hey, it's me. I just wanted to call you back. I know it's taken me a while. Well, I'll try again later. Or feel free to call me back whenever you get this, too. Would be great to talk again. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, oh God, who am I kidding? I can't do this. What if he answers? What if he doesn't answer? What if he doesn't want to hear from me? Oh God, what if he does? What am I supposed to say? God, I made such a fool of myself last time. What the hell am I supposed to say? I just wish we could start over, pretend like it never happened. I should just call. Maybe he doesn't even think about it anymore. Maybe it wasn't that big a deal for him. Maybe I'm just overthinking things again. I'm overthinking things. I should just call. What could it hurt, right? Just to hear his voice? I'll probably get his voicemail anyway. I don't even have to leave a message. I could just call. God, but what if he answers? What am I supposed to say? What will he say? Okay, you know what? Just stop it. I can do this. Just call him. I can do this. I can't do this. Okay, you can do this. Just pick up the phone. Just dial the number. You can do this. Just take a breath. Hey, Oh, I'm sorry. No, I guess I must have the wrong... Yeah, sorry about that. Bye. Hey, it's me. I'm sorry I never called you back.
Stop wasting my
Time is an illusion, confusion, a substitution for a thought that intrudes when you least expect to find it. When you least expect to go it alone and face another day, wake up on your own and wear yourself down with all the moments, thinking of moments, when the moment passed, or it wasn't the right moment, or the moment never came, or it was only a moment and then nothing at all, and what can you do with the moment? Time is an illusion, a substitution for a thought that intrudes when it was all that you wanted but you were nothing at all, thinking of a future when the future is a future you couldn't have, when never is a long time to wait, and you wore yourself down with the wanting. Desire's a funny thing, and doesn't find it funny that the future is a future it can only hope to find. Hope is H-O-P-E. Count them out, hope is a 4-letter word. So is want, so is need, so is when. When all you need is a substitution for a thought that intrudes when confusion is the last thing you need another moment to think. This isn't the illusion you were hoping for. Hope is a 4-letter world where all you can see is something seeming to stand in for a moment you lost, a moment you never had, a future far off and frozen, a resolution that resolves nothing, that doesn't even resolve itself into anything other than the movement of grains of sand behind glass, showing nothing and giving everything away. Stop wasting my...
Chicken Little sits and waits and listens for a word. She'll know it by the way you speak. She will know by what she heard. And if she does not need you now, well, stick around and you'll see. There's always time for wanting more, so maybe later. I have waited long enough, and then she'll look you in the eye. You're mine, or I'm yours, or that's just what I thought would happen. This isn't what I expected at all. How could I be so stupid?
But there she sits and waits. And waits. And waits some more all the same. A long line of people waiting to be seen. To be judged, he thought, and wondered yet again whether he ought to leave before they called his number. He could tell the man at the desk that it was all a mistake, that he'd come here by accident, a misunderstanding and nothing more. Anyway, he had somewhere else to be. Didn't everyone? If he left now, of course, then he'd never know. But did he really want to? It was a question he'd asked himself countless times. He still didn't have a good answer. He glanced around, secretly trying to get a better sense of the competition. Unfortunately, there was no way to tell who here would pass and who would fail. You left by another door. There would be no opportunities to watch as someone made their exit and attempt to glean from their expression whether they had made it through. No fleeting moments during which the crowd could desperately try to determine what was so special about that person. No standards to which you could compare yourself. No chance to figure out if you measured up. It was unlikely that he'd ever even see any of these people again. The numbers ticked up steadily, growing higher and more foreboding as the line of hopefuls oozed slowly onward. Sneaking a look over his shoulder, he saw the man at the desk staring back at him, one eyebrow arching up and a smile on the man's lips. He wasn't sure what that meant. Next. The front of the line, much sooner than he had expected. And this was it, he realized, the abrupt denouement of another earnest crusade, a transient pause during which he would find out whether it had all been worth it, whether all those years of struggle and industrious hardship would finally bear fruit. It could only ever have come to this, and there was nothing more to do now but step forward and discover where this long, circuitous path had led him. He hesitated, but no matter. He already knew.
I am the king of the people who wander the night. Here I sit, on a red velvet throne of awkward silence and empty sound, forever brushing away the crumbs of their twilight indulgences until at last I may be free of their guilt, absolved, if only for a moment, of their agonizing joy. From my perch I watch them, heads down, eyes up, predatory monsters of the early hours who know nothing of the time before and who want nothing of tomorrow. I rule a bitter and unseemly skill over shadows. If only a one had anything of substance, I would think my place quite tolerable. Instead, I am left with specters, extolled by ephemera, who choke me with their need and overwhelm me with the desperation of their childlike wanderings. I can anticipate no end to this sullen state of affairs. Bound as I am to these naive and benighted creatures by a foolish concern for their well-being, I can imagine no one else to mind them on my behalf. Perhaps I am simply too proud to abdicate my rank, but I fear as well that no other nation would have me. In truth, it might be best this way. For as long as I have reigned in these darkest of Edens, the skies above have seen fit to reflect my mood. I recognize myself in the anguish of the storm and in the melancholy of the silent, enduring gloom. This world and I are as one. There for nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing. The skies above, the sea of life that does not see. That does not see. In sighs and whispers they strain to speak of more than madness, of letting be. Not this, not I, not we, nor you can hope to find a way. When heaven hides, the secrets lie in wait to trap their prey. Come, come now, be brave and bold, take up the drum and spear, for all to hear, all to fear what truths you may have told. But glance not down, no, gaze not there, where figments hatch and squirm, to crack their chains and seize their names, to shed their cloying skin. There for nothing, the skies above, the fictions that we wreak, on home and hearth, the makeshift bones of substance that we seek. Would you like to see my creation? I'd show it to you, but there's nothing there. Isn't it amazing? Just don't tell anyone about it. The more they know, the less I can make. Better that they don't see it for themselves. Can you see it? You can? Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me... For a time, we made sense. We would gather together in the fields under a golden sunflower sky and pick words out of the air, braiding them into strands of meaning we shared with one another freely until the light faded and the fireflies came to guide us home. Home where we slept, where we dreamt, and where we waited for the day to break and the sky to breathe life into the earth once more, so we could begin again. Above all, we risked surrendering ourselves completely. A sigh could be a thunderstorm, sundering the heavens and exposing the torment within. A laugh could be a mountain, crumbling into the oceans amid a rising tide of doubt and uncertainty. And silence could be a flame, burning away the mask and revealing the fear trembling beneath. Deceit was simply not an option. We concealed too little and said too much, but somehow innocence and wisdom found a balance, and we were everything we needed. In no world does such courage last for long. As artifice began to scab across the raw wound of sincerity, the words started to fall from the sky like dead leaves, littering the ground with their delicate, desiccated promise. We tried to revive one or two, but to no avail. Even the soil itself seemed distressed by our newfound propensity for pretense, becoming parched and unyielding just as the final echoes of nuance withered away. For a time, we made sense, but a time has its place, and sense, of course, is only a word. As the fields browned and died, factories appeared. We would line up quietly outside them, waiting for the lights to flash and the smokestacks to erupt, until, at last, a panel would swing open and out would come our daily ration of utterances. And with these we had to make do, dull, plastic, and all alike, speaking to one another as strangers and without a single spark of understanding. Place without belonging, longing without love, a special kind of madness that comes from hiding in plain sight, seen but not yet recognized, heard but not yet understood. I move through time and space, observing all, saying far too little. What do you make of this? The lives you live, the memories, the moments, where do they go? Who do you find there? I've tried to make that journey here, tried to reconcile my circuitous wandering, outwardly aimless, with a destination that remains forever a step ahead, an optical illusion that pulls away even as it draws me forward. I exist in between worlds, in between words. I am impatient and still I fear to tread further. I fear to leave my fears behind. Who I think I'm not has always been of greater concern than who I am. That's not me. It could be. Why isn't it? The journey is one of integration, of bringing together fragments, fantasies, feeling my way tentatively toward a shape that fits, one where I can loosen the bonds of letter and line and speak myself into being. I look out from the page, daring to anchor text to tongue, resigned to the inevitable inconsistencies, the imprecision. Words were not enough. Why should voice be any different? Enough was never the point. Getting it out of my head, letting it breathe. There's more room in that direction, more opportunities to play. I speak aloud the words I write in order that others might find even more of me in that place, more of my original intent. I manipulate those private words, editing and altering, masking by machine, afraid to remain completely unguarded. Or perhaps merely wishing to disintegrate myself anew, to be multiple. I resist the confines of a singular static identity in spite of any desperate claims of my yearning to be whole. From this perspective, too, my journey follows quite naturally alongside and in tandem with the made-up places that are in many ways more familiar to me, more comforting than the supposedly more tangible territories in which my physical form resides. Here, in Second Life, a vast virtual canvas where we create what cannot be, what could be, what was and what might be again, I step inside the imaginations of people I've never met and who I may have never even spoken to, understanding something of their inner worlds nonetheless. I am welcome in. I can tarry even when no one is around to guide me through. A part of their mind persists, displaced from its usual boundaries. Their visions are all around me, surrounding and summoning, and allowing me to decide where and when I will turn. I am not unique in this interpretation of my experience there, in this online and ever-changing world that has endured for over 15 years. The people who I've personally talked to, those whose thoughts I've heard by proxy, many say the same, that in this realm where we build both body and backdrop, avatars to represent us and places to contain those itinerant representations, a certain kind of intimate connection takes hold in the act of being there and navigating another's creations. What sort of space does someone choose to make, free of the limitations imposed by our atomically based reality? How do we inhabit those imaginary spaces? How do we move? How do we see? How do we embody or even disembody ourselves in a collectively constructed world that weighs so little and encompasses so much? In my own travels across this virtual terrain, I have often been content with solitude, maintaining human contact by way of exploration, seeking out new spaces by myself and discovering subtle details there, learning about a space's purpose and the minds who made it, and letting solitude be tempered by my awareness of entering a dream, one that someone, somewhere, chose to share. I am also keenly aware of the ephemerality of these digitized dreams, returning sometimes to find that the familiar is no more. My wandering, therefore, has recently begun to lean toward preservation, with attempts to film some of these imaginary spaces while I still can, to capture as many of their contours as possible while keeping myself literally out of the picture. And yet how futile! For just as these spaces change me, invading my mind with each visit, so too do I change them, in the eyes of my viewers, by the turns and the tilts I make while filming, through the visual rhythms that I decide to pursue in my starry-eyed efforts to document them purely as they are. What would it mean to embrace that implicit artistic bias? How might such a journey take shape? To seize hybridity on a threefold scale, to solicit nuance from the amalgamation of word, voice, and image. Where would that journey leave me? in places where I do not belong, but which nevertheless feel like home, longing for a refuge which will, like the universe itself, be ultimately indifferent to my presence. I choose the madness, I choose to hide, speaking disembodied words whose instigator remains, with two exceptions, very much unseen, words that echo across frames intentionally devoid of avatar-based life. This journey must be dreamt alone. From a sacred space, then, I struggle to come to terms with both the burden and the promise of human creativity and with where it may or may not lead me. Lost in a fog of my own invention, I ache for the light of other shores. My own seems to not be enough. I am too far removed from the world, a beacon that no one else notices unless I make myself heard, and in doing so I cannot help but repeat the mistakes of my past, like a machine that knows nothing but its endless, unthinking cadence. Is anyone really listening? I recite my misgivings to a non-existent crowd, to the congregation inside my head. They, at least, understand how this feels. Maybe I'm just one among many who feel this way, all of us waiting for a moment of redemption, of approval, all of us rooted in a nebulous landscape that is neither here nor there. Perhaps these are my people. But what kind of kingdom can we possibly build on such frailty? I worry that I will forever be trapped within my weakness, bound by doubts that appear to define me. I worry as well that we are all too undone by hardship and loss to question the reassuring falsehoods we treat as gospel. We celebrate that which is not really there. Is that so bad? The internet was once supposed to be utopia, a place where we could all come together and appreciate what we had in common, communicate undeterred by difference, and build an egalitarian society of the mind. And for a time, there is still magic there, though. As I move forward into an uncertain future, I am, as ever, torn between hope and apprehension, wondering what might lie beyond the darkness. But I take solace in the fact that worlds like Second Life exist, populated by dreamers in whose creations I've been able to find shelter. This journey was never mine alone.